welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry for not posting for so long. Midterms were crazy. I've had so many assignments and I'm a terrible student that procrastinates until the last second, so it was pretty busy for me. And so much other stuff has been happening. One of Us is Lying season 1 has been coming out and it's so fucking good. Like, I can't even explain to you guys how much I love it, how much the cast is so perfect. You season 3 just came out, which was crazy. I am obsessed with it. It was so fucking good. The last episode was insane, but yeah, that's basically what my past few weeks have consisted of, is midterms, TV shows, and trying to read, but I have not been reading as much as I was before. But a book that I did manage to finish was Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World, and this is the sequel to Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. The first book came out almost 10 years ago, like 9 years ago, and this book was like 5 years in the making, and you can definitely tell in the writing that it was just so, you know what, let's wait until I get into this review. Before we get started, like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm so fucking close to 1,000. I'm like 42 subscribers away from 1,000, and it would be so sick if I reached it like in the next month. That'd be so fucking cool. But without further ado, let's get into this makeup book review. So this second book is set not too long after the first book was. It probably jumps maybe a few days, a few weeks. It's not long at all. And there are gonna be some spoilers. I can't avoid them. I'm gonna try to avoid the heavy spoilers, but there are gonna be some things I'm gonna discuss. So if you haven't read the book and you don't wanna know what happens, I'd honestly say just come back once you've read it to hear what I thought and kind of reflect. Just as a fair warning before you get into this book, even if you've read the first one, like, it's heavy. Like, this material, I had to put it down a few times just because I'd read something and I'm like, fuck, that hurts. Like, it's a lot. It's you know, the 80s and two gay teenagers, like, obviously it's gonna fucking hurt, but it was really good. And the plot of the book follows Ari and Dante over the summer when they first get together. The book was supposed to be titled There Will Be Other Summers, but the author changed it to Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World. And I really think that There Will Be Other Summers was a way better title, just for like the content of this book and like the tone, and the summary would have gone really well with that title, but you know, whatever. Waiting for my face to dry, but this is not going to be fucking fun. Do you know how hard blue is to blend? This is gonna fucking suck. And I just wanted to say, I think that the writing was fucking incredible. Like, it was so beautiful. I couldn't believe it. Like, every single line I wanted to take a picture of and save to remember it later. Like, every single bit of it was poetic and gorgeous, and like, I don't know, there's just something about his writing that's just so beautiful, gorgeous. Like, God, it's so incredible. And I've seen the kind of controversy of it already. I know that a lot of people didn't really care for this book. They said that they didn't like it. They said it wasn't what they were waiting for. I kind of saw that in the second half of the book. It was strange, and it was very, very different from Ari and Dante, but also it's been almost 10 years. It was bound to be like pretty different. from the first book. But I think the first half of the book was fitting of the storyline of Ari and Dante and like what I would expect from them. Like, it was good. It was really, really good. And in this book, we do see Ari make more friends. Like, that is part of his journey. Like, he cannot continue his life with just Dante. We see him coming out of his shell for his senior year of high school, and, you know, building like a group of people that he can go to that isn't just Dante. We see him forge a relationship with his parents, which is something he did not have in the last book. He talks about it frequently, about how he and his dad were at a sort of war with each other, and that he didn't like really realize how much he loved his parents and his mom, especially until this book. I thought that watching Ari struggle with who he was a very important part of the book, because, as I said, he's a gay teenager in the 80s. Like, this is a big deal. He's struggling with his identity and thinking that he doesn't want to be gay, but how can he not want to be gay when his love for Dante is so beautiful, and he loves loving Dante. He'll never not love Dante, but he hates being gay and he doesn't like being gay. He's also just trying to figure out like other parts of his identity, like, who am I? Like, what do I like to do? I don't have any hobbies. And what do I want to be? What do I want to like grow into? Which I thought was pretty on par for like the story. Like, it is like Ari's introspection and his feelings towards himself. So I thought that was really good, and I loved the way that the author took Dante's story and like what he wanted to do and what he wanted to be. I thought that was really interesting. If you didn't like this book, let me know like what aspects of it you didn't like, because so far the only like thing I can really think of that I guess would make people kind of mad would be like the vibe of it. Like, it focused more on Ari and his relationship with being gay than it did like his relationship with Dante. Like, it definitely like centered his relationship with Dante, but it wasn't, it was there. It was like a support. Like, he didn't struggle with liking Dante like he did in the first one. It wasn't like that. That was like the one solid in his life, was that he loved Dante and like he loved him. There was no making that go away. It's everything else that came with that he kind of struggled with. But I don't see why everyone didn't like it so much, because that's what I was seeing. Like, people telling me it was a mess. And I didn't really understand that, because other than the writing, I saw someone say that the writing was bad, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, it's like its own style of writing. It's so poetic, and the prose it's a prose like heavy book. Like, that's what it is. It was so fucking good. Like, the writing was incredible. I spent the whole time thinking, wow, I'm never going to be like this sort of writer. Like, this is never going to be how I write, and it is so fucking good. And if you were hoping for like relationship angst, there's not really like a lot of that. Like, there's a little bit, and I'm not going to spoil it because it is kind of like whew, but you only really get a little. Like, the rest is just them loving each other and them talking about being gay and not wanting to be gay, and the AIDS crisis is a big subject in this book. So if that's like triggering for you, definitely do not read this book, because it talks about it a lot. There's a lot of introspection about it, and it brings a lot of awareness to it. So it is definitely a heavy topic for this sequel. And what little angst there was, I thought fit the story really nicely. Like, you know, these are teenage boys. It's not like well, it is kind of life and death because they're gay, but it's not like crazy, like terrible angst that it's not fitting for the relationship. Like, it works for their relationship, and it's sad. It's a sad fucking book. Like, it's sad. Like, if you don't want to read a sad book, don't read this book. I had to put it down. Like, I'd read something that was just absolutely like heart-wrenching, and I was like, fuck, like I have to put this down for a few hours. Like, that shit hurts. I also really fucking loved, like, Ari gets into writing in this book, and he says that he's not good with words and that Dante's the poet, but the way he writes, it's like he's the poet, and it's like gorgeous. And he writes a poem, and one line that I literally cannot forget is, "You taught me how to swim in stormy waters, and then you left me here to drown." Like, fuck, that is so good. Aristotle Mendoza, you mean everything to me. My worst trait is cleaning my makeup brushes right before I use them. And then I'm like, why isn't this shit dry yet? And it's because, you know, I just fucking cleaned it, but I forget until I'm using it. And I'm like, there's orange on this, and I don't want orange in this look. So this is taking fucking forever. And I have been reading like cheesy, silly romances lately. So I think I did find it kind of hard to get back into like that serious like mood to read this. And it took me a while to read. Like, I was reading this for at least 2 weeks. And it took me a minute because it was just really heavy, really serious, you know, fucking sad. Like, it's not a story that you read when you want to be happy. Like, you might love Ari and Dante, and they might be like your comfort characters, but this is not a story you read lightly. Like, it's painful. Okay, this is looking a little rough, but it's nothing a little glitter can't fix. I do wish that the book was more descriptive, and by that I mean not the prose. Like, that's very descriptive and very full of imagery. Like, that's what this book is. It's literally just a bunch of imagery, but I wanted like more descriptions of the scenes that they were in. Like, there's a very dramatic, tragic scene, and the way it's described is very not light, but like not full of words. It's very quick. There's barely any descriptors at all. It just kind of happens, and then afterwards skips to the prose of how Ari is feeling, and like comparing it to, like, you know, too much for him, like too much weight on his shoulders, like waves crashing in the ocean, you know how his writing is. I do think it could have been shorter. I think 500 something words was very long for such, like, I don't want to say plotless, because it's not plotless. I don't want to say that it's plotless, because it's not. It's a year of Aristotle and Dante learning to be gay and to accept the fact that they're gay and be in a relationship over the course of an entire year, counting down to their last summer together as like kids. So there is a plot, but it's very big for a book without, like, I don't want to say it. The plot isn't so obvious. It's not, there's no like end goal. That's not like that kind of plot with like a climax and a resolution and a falling action. Like, there's none of that. Like, it's just introspection into their lives. And I think it was very long, and there were a couple scenes that I think were probably unnecessary, and probably like halted the story's flow a little bit. Overall, I did give it 4 stars because it was beautifully written. and I just felt that there were some scenes that didn't fit, and that the ending, like the second half of the book, was a bit awkward, like minus a few scenes. Like it was very strange reading Ari opening up to so many people at once. Like I would understand him getting like 1 or 2 friends, but he gets like 5, 6 new friends, and it's very sudden and strange, since before Ari was very closed off, no friends, just Dante, and Dante like wormed his way into Ari's life like against Ari's will. So it's like, you know, a bit weird to read that. So I gave it 4 stars overall. I will say there is a problem that doesn't really get solved. It's just like there's a grand gesture and we're supposed to like infer from this grand gesture that like the problem is solved somehow, but I don't get how it is. Like I can kind of get it, and I don't want to spoil anything because this is like a big part of the book. Like it's like what the whole book leads up towards, so I'm not gonna say it, but I just wish there had been a little more to like the last couple of pages than the very end. But the very end paragraph is so fucking cute. Like I was like, oh my god. And I just want to know like where they are today. Like where are Ari and Dante? And I feel like I don't want any other Ari and Dante books. I don't want them, because I feel like Benjamin would write a very not fun ending for Ari and Dante. Like if he for real like wrote the end of their story, I feel like it would not be fun. Like it'd be like, I don't know, I don't even want to say it, like they wouldn't end up together. Like, oh, this was the first gay teen love. Like you really thought they were gonna end up together? Like, no. Or that they like separate and then come together again after like 10 years, which would really fucking suck. So I really hope he's like done with Ari Dante. Like this is it, this is it. I can see why some people didn't like this book. I can see like some people's hesitation to like the advancement of the story. I enjoyed the character development. I enjoyed the introspection into Ari's like journey with accepting himself and accepting his relationship with Dante, his relationship with his parents, his relationship with his friends. Like this is a story about Aristotle Mendoza. Like it's really, really good. All right, so I am done with this makeup look. The blue isn't exactly the color of the cover. I tried really hard to get it to be that light, very cool blue, but it didn't work that well, but whatever. And then it faded into this yellow right there. It's like the sunset, very, very pretty. I did some white freckles for the title color, like I usually do. And then this like darker turquoisey blue for the drawings around here, and then a black eyeliner for down here, which I think worked pretty well. It didn't match exactly, and I'm not an artist, so I couldn't draw any of this fucking stuff on here. Like I know I would have messed it up. I'm a terrible, terrible artist. This is the only sort of art I can do. That is where the line is drawn. I definitely think that this book is worth reading. It is very, very gorgeous. Even if it's just for the writing, it is just like lovely writing that I adored. Definitely go check it out. Let me know what you think of it down below, like what you thought of the book, if you disagreed with my thoughts, if you agreed with them, whatever, let me know in the comments. And yeah, that is it for this video. Again, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get a reading vlog out right now, but I do not know how long that is gonna take. I am really fucking trying, but we'll see. But until then, I will see you guys later. Bye.